Okay. Okay, guys. Okay. Let's do returns. Fatapat se let's revise it. Chalo. Okay. So, friends, the first part that comes in returns is GSTR1 and GSTR3B. GSTR1 and 3B is actually filed by normal taxpayers, correct? And yeah, it also includes CTP, that is casual taxable person. Okay, CTP stands for casual taxable person. Please remember that. Okay. So, for example, if the tax period, my dear friends, happens to be April, understand that from 1st से लेके 11th May, okay, that is of the next month, you will file GSTR1, the details of outward supplies, and those outward supplies can be taxable, exempt, non taxable. In fact, it also includes transactions where you are paying tax as per RCM. Okay. That is also a part of inward supply that will be captured here, right? Now, understand now there are B2B supplies and B2C supplies. When I say B2C, B2B supplies, it will be very simple. Registered to registered is what I mean, Purvi. Do you get it? Yes. And it can be intra or inter. Smith, it can be intra or inter, definitely. But understand that the details that you're putting here is definitely invoice wise details. What is it? Invoice wise details. Okay. Invoice wise details का मतलब क्या? What does that mean? Very simple. It only means that there will be, okay, recipient's GST number, okay, there will be value of supply, there will be CGST, SGST in case it's intra, or agar inter hai to IGST, and that's how it will be, right? The reason of giving GST number is very simple, so that as soon as you punch in details in GSTR1, okay, it will be auto populated into recipient's GSTR2B, and that's a very big reason. Okay, as soon as recipient gets it in 2B, it can avail its ITC in 3B, right? Very important for recipient, by the way. Next is B2C. Again, there is intra and inter, but under this case, when it's intra-state supply, we have consolidated details. So, for example, let's say there are 10 recipients of yours. So you are a person who's registered in the month of in the month here in the state of Maharashtra. Then in that case, if you have made supplies to 10 different persons within the state, let's say Nasik, Pune, Aurangabad, Sangli, Devlali, right? So 10 people in 10 different cities. Okay, and let's say every sale for that matter is worth rupees 5 lakhs. So understand, 5 lakhs multiplied by 10, it's 50 lakhs. So only 50 lakhs amount will be reflected in your return. Okay, CGST, since it's intrastate, the rate is 18%, 9%, 9%, and that's how, okay, the entire structure will be built. Is that very clear? Yes. Okay, there is no requirement of any individual. Okay, there is no requirement of any individual that needs to be given separately invoice wise. Okay, interstate. So obviously, if the invoice value is up to 2.5 lakhs, again there is consolidated detail, but this is state wise consolidated detail. This is state wise consolidated details, right? But when we talk about invoice value which is greater than 2.5 lakhs, right? Then in that case, there will be only invoice wise details. It will be only invoice wise details. Okay. So that is something that needs to be taken care of. And I hope you understand this very well. What do you mean by state wise consolidated details, by the way? Very simple. For example, if the state is in Maharashtra, and let's say there are three states that you're supplying goods: Gujarat, Punjab, and UP. Now, in Gujarat, for example, if you've made supplies up to 2 lakhs, 2 lakhs, 2 lakhs. So it's very important that every recipient that is existing in different state, you write the place of supply out there. Now, place of supply, understand, is very important, because uh, understand that if you don't write the place of supply, okay, how will, or how on earth I would say, that the government will possibly ever know that which state do they have to give that SGST component, right? They will not get to know ever in life. They will never get to know ever in life. Okay, then what's the use? What's the use? Are you getting it? Yes, absolutely. There's absolutely no use, right? And which is why, okay, we will definitely, my dear friends, okay, write the place of supply. Does that make sense? Yes. Okay. So that's there. Now on 14th of May, okay, GSTR 2B is what exists now. So we will only focus on 2B, right? We will not focus on 2A. Obviously, you will get the details of inward supply on the basis of the outward supply, okay, that you have done, that someone has done as a supplier. So the supplier understand, okay, will file under GSTR 1 and in 2B, the same details will be updated, okay, will be auto-populated, my dear friends, at the end of the recipient's end. Now, on 20th May, okay, in GSTR 3B, you will be filing all the details. Outward supply, output tax, inward supply, ITC, okay, and then you will eventually, okay, get to net tax payable, and then, okay, you will finally pay the tax, right, on the same day on which you file GSTR 3B, that is 20th May. Perfect. Yeah, makes sense. Now, this is a recent information that you know on which an amendment has happened. So, which are the cases where registered person is debarred from filing GSTR 1? Understand, if you don't file GSTR 1, right, what happens is that the person to whom you have sold goods, okay, the purchase is not auto-populated in his GSTR 2B. So he will come behind you stating that what the hell? Okay, I have given you 1,18,000, and Mr. Karan, you have not filed GSTR 1. Okay, because you have not filed GSTR 1, I can't see it in my 2B, and which is why I cannot take the ITC in 3B, because the inward supply in 3B and the inward supply in 2B should match, and it's not matching because of you. So my entire 18,000 is in waste. Okay. So understand, this is the kind of pressure that the supplier will start facing from the recipient's end if he does not show the supplies in GSTR 1, GSTR 1. And which is why all I want to tell you, my dear friends, is that the best thing government has said is that if you do these non-compliances, your GSTR 1 will be blocked, right? Or your IFF, that is invoice furnishing facility, will be blocked, which we will actually see in QRMP scheme. Okay, this is relevant for QRMP scheme. Now understand, my dear friends, which are those three cases. So first and second were always there. It is the third, which is the recent amendment that has just happened. Now, a registered person shall not be allowed to furnish the details of outward supplies in GSTR 1 if he has not furnished the return in 3B for the preceding month. Correct? So if you don't file 3B for the preceding month, okay, so if for example May hai, to make your GSTR 1 will be blocked. You will be debarred from filing details in GSTR 1 if your 3B is not filed for the month of, let's say, April. Okay, तो May का देख रहे हो तो April का, if April का 3B you have not filed, your May का GSTR 1 will be banned, debarred. Okay, and the same goes, my dear friends, with respect to person in QRMP scheme. Is just that the nomenclature is okay for the preceding tax period, which is basically a quarter, 3 months. Now the third one is that the intimation to pay or explain the difference in 1 and 3B under section, okay, I would rather say under rule 88C. Now, what is 88C? Let's check. Okay. So, for example, if the liability in GSTR 1 is greater than liability in GSTR 3B, okay, the liability in GSTR 1 is greater than liability in GSTR 3B. Understand, in this case, what happens is that why does a supplier do this on the first place? That is written the liability in 1, he's shown outward supply in 1, but he has not shown the same outward supply in 3B. Why? Because obviously, if he shows in 3B, he will have to land up paying tax. If he does not land up paying tax, 3B itself will not be filed, right? So, to save himself from the recipient's agony, right, what supplier does is he shows it in 1 so that it reflects in recipient's 2B. And now that recipient has this information in 2B, right? Which has got auto-populated because of supplier's GSTR1. Recipient is not antagonized. He though thinks that supplier has already paid the tax on the supplies that he has showed in one. But supplier exactly does the opposite. He shows it in one, but does not show it in 3B. He does not show it in 3B and thereby does not pay tax of 3B. Now, if there is any difference intimated नहीं intimated beta on portal of such difference, he either has to pay the differential tax amount or explain the difference within 7 days. If he does not do the same, if he does not reply or does not pay the difference, the recovery of that amount shall start from him, under section 79, right, which will be doing in demand and recovery chapter. Perfect. And the registered person to whom intimation is issued shall be debarred from 1 and IFF till he pays or explains, right? So it's good that he pays or explains first, otherwise he will not be able to file GSTR1, and he will have to land up paying the late fee and also the interest on the same. Tomorrow when he does good to that. Perfect. Next is, my dear friends, in case you have not carried out any business activity. When I say no business activity, that means he has not done anything. He has neither gone for taxable supplies, exempt supplies, non-taxable supplies, nothing doing. Acha, even inward supply where tax is payable as per RCM. So normal inward supply is fine where supplier will pay the tax, but inward supply where the taxpayer is supposed to pay taxes per RCM, even that is not required, right? So in this case, definitely, my dear friends, no business activity is carried out. Then definitely, you will file nil return through SMS by OTP facility. Now, when I say form GSTR1 can be filed only after the tax period is over. In this case, understand very, very important thing that in case of cancellation of RCA, closure of business by casual taxable person, right? These are the two cases where GSTR1 you can file even before the tax period ends. So generally what happens is April ka GSTR1, so any outward supplies you've done in the month of April, you have to file GSTR1 by 11th of the next May. Got it? You cannot file it in April only. So for example, let's say 2nd or 3rd April, you did some sale and now you know that the entire month is no business. You can't just file your outward supply of April month on 11th April. You have to file it on 11th May, right? Unless you are a CTP who's closing down a business. And again, going back to a state where his fixed establishment exists, or in case of cancellation of RC, right? Either of the case may be disallowed, but generally it is not allowed, right? Acha. Can we revise return? No, the concept of revise return is in income tax, because understand the entire return has to be filed once. Once. But here you have to file return every freaking month. And which is why there is only concept of rectification, and rectification can be done either on the actual date of filing annual return or 30th November of the following financial year to which such details pertain, whichever is earlier. Now, my dear friends, comes the compo taxpayer. अच्छा, वट एवर योर नेम इज बेटा, पता नहीं आपका यूजर नेम शायद दिखा रहा है भक्तों का पापा. द रिविजन फॉर दिस इज ऑलरेडी टेकन बेटा with respect to enter CA. So you can check the playlist, it is available there. Okay. Achha, when I talk about composition taxpayer, my dear friends, then in that case, please understand that in case of compo taxpayer, payment of taxes GST CMP 08 form. The due date is 18th of the month following the quarter in which the supplies are made, and The example is very simple. April to June will be 18th July, 18th October, 18th Jan, and 18th April. Now, when it comes to returns, understand it is GSTR 4. Now, when I say it's GSTR 4, okay, it's an annual return. So for the entire year, you will file once, right? And that is on 30th April, right? So if it's financial year 2021, it will be 30th April 2021. And is nil return allowed here? Yes. If there is no business activity at all, if you have not done anything in this quarter, then you can definitely file. Okay, quarter नहीं बोलूंगा, in the entire year बोलूंगा, because it's annual return now, right? So nil return can be clearly filed, and it can be filed through SMS via OTP verification. ठीक है. Next is, my dear friends, with respect to NRTP. Again, in case of payment of tax, it's advance tax, right? Yes, yes, Purvi. There are few things that you need to remember. Only those form numbers which are supposed to remember, I have written there. Okay, one is in payment of tax, and one is here in composition scheme. Okay, so there's just couple of places where you need to remember, but do remember it. Okay, correct. Payment of tax with respect to NRTP, non-resident taxable person. Understand that there is a culture of paying advance tax out here. Okay, and when do you pay it? At the time of registration. When do you register? At least 5 days before commencement of business. Hope you got that. But understand, obviously, if the advance tax is paid, it is paid on the basis of estimation. Either you will end up paying in excess, or either you will land up paying lesser. Now, the fact is, if you land up paying in excess, you will get the refund. If you land up paying lesser, okay, you will have to pay the remaining pending amount with interest. So when I talk about return, it's 13th of the next month, or 7 days from the expiry of RC, whichever is earlier. Again, whichever is earlier. Okay, done. Next is, my dear friends, okay, with respect to uh, TDS deductor under section 51. Form number is GSTR 7. Due date is 10th of the next month. Okay, TCS deductor under section 52. Form number is GSTR 8. Due date is 10th of the next month. But understand, okay, that in TCS, if you need to rectify any details, the due date is 30th November following the end of financial year, or again actual date of filing annual return, whichever is earlier. Best part about the amendment that they've carried out here, okay, is that most of the due dates they have done as the same, be it ITC, be it credit note, be it the rectification part of GSTR 1 3B, or for that matter GSTR 8. They have all kept it at par, which is the best thing. Otherwise, there are different due dates for different form. That used to really confuse students, and really, they used to forget it at the time. The exams are better for you all also, and better for practicing chartered accountants also. Got it? Yes. Now, when I say UI and holders, my dear friends, okay, they're covered under 25 subsection 9. If you can give some examples, yes, for an MBC, and then multilateral financial institutions, and then obviously the UN case. Okay, so as you all know that the inward supply, the input tax they pay on the inward supply, they get the refund of that. Correct. Okay, and all they not need to file is GSTR 11 for that. Right. Now, when I talk about OIDAR suppliers, where the supplier is outside India, recipient is an unregistered person in India, they will file GSTR 5A. Okay, and the due date is 20th of the next month. So understand, NRTP, non-resident taxable person, okay, person who actually comes to India, does business, and then goes back, who has no fixed establishment in India. So even that person is, okay, in Hindi we can call Pardesi, and even this guy is Pardesi. So this guy so does not even come to India. He operates so outside India only. So he's also Pardesi, right? So Pardesi, Pardesi, Jana nahi. In English, if I can translate, foreigner, foreigner, please don't go, don't leave me, don't leave me. Okay, so in this case, that is 5, this is 5A. Okay, so 20th of the next month is the due date where you need to file the return. Absolutely, my dear friends. Next is final return. Now, who will file final return? Who is going to leave? Who is going to leave what? GST Act. And how? Because he is now about to become an unregistered person. And how will that happen? Because he is cancelling his RC. Okay, so if his RC is cancelled, okay, and the form number happens to be GSTR 10, the due date here will be within 3 months. He has to file final return from the date of cancellation or date of cancellation order, whichever is later. Whichever is later. Is that very clear, my dear friends? Yes, sir. Okay, perfect. Okay, so please understand 3 months. Okay. Now, understand a lot of people ask me, sir, what is the difference between both of them? Very simple. Date of cancellation order is the date when the order is passed. Let's say, okay, on 110, the order is passed. But date of cancellation is the date when the cancellation has actually got into effect. So it can be retrospective. If it's retrospective, so 110 ही, it will be 19. And in case it's prospective, it can be 110 or any date after 110. Let's say something 111 or something like that. That is prospective. So one is retrospective and one is prospective. Okay. So that is what it is, my dear friends. Okay. Perfect. 3 months is important. Generally, people end up forgetting that. People just remember this cancellation order and cancellation. No, no, you have to calculate 3 months from there. Please remember that. Okay. Next is annual return. When I ask annual return, understand. Okay. Frankly, annual return is filed by two people: normal taxpayer GSTR 9 and compo taxpayer GSTR 9A. But now that the annual return, normal return of compo taxpayer is only filed annually, that is on 30th April. No one now ever files GSTR 9A. Okay, so it's practically out, right? So who shall file? All registered person except CTP, NRTP, ISD, TCS, OIDAR wala. Form number GSTR 9. Due date is 31st December of the next financial, right? Now it's very important for you to understand that when you cross a certain limit, right? Okay, understand GST audit triggers. Now, when you are subject to GST audit, apart from annual return, you also need to file copy of audited annual accounts and RECO statement. Initially, both of them have to be signed by a chartered accountant or a CMA. But now it's completely fine if you self-certified it, so you sign it by yourself, right? Reconciliation statement is basically a statement that reconciles the difference between, correct, the audited annual accounts, that is P&L balance sheet, and your returns that you have filed, okay, across the period. They will actually do a recap of what is your sales and what is your output supply, what is your purchase and what are your inward supplies, correct? Next is first return. First return, my dear friends, please try and understand that this is the first return you will ever file after getting registered. Okay. So your government has said that all those transactions which you have done after you become liable to register up to the date of grant of RC. So basically, it's exactly that period for which RTI is issued. RTI, revised tax invoice. In that case, understand, okay, all those transactions which are between these dates, you will file the return immediately on the 11th of the next month and 20th of the next month that arrives. Okay, so for example, understand if the outward supply here that we need to capture is between date of becoming liable to register up to date of grant of RC. In this case, understand, okay, the 4 days that you have for the month of May, right? Understand that in that case, okay, even though the transactions are in May, doesn't matter. I will have to capture the details of the same on 11th of May. Please correct this, 11th of May. Okay, and you will file GSTR-3B for the same period on 20th May. Got it? Perfect. Okay. Section 46, my difference is basically sending notice in case the registered person has not filed return under Section 39. So under 39, the returns are clearly GSTR-3B, then you have 4, then you have 5, then you have 7, then you have 8. Okay. Then we have 44 annual return, then you have 45 final return, then you have 52 TCS statement. If you don't file the returns, okay, after being reminded that you need to file, which you failed to file within 15 days of such notice, understand the consequences can be really harsh. Your entire assessment will be done on best judgment assessment basis. Correct. On best judgment assessment basis. Correct. That's it. Okay. Now, my dear friends, we are only left with two things. One is the QRMP scheme, which is the major part. Okay, and the other is, my dear friends, what you'll be waiting for is your late fees. Okay, correct. So just give me 2 minutes, I'll come have some water and we can start. Okay, friends. Okay, before we go ahead with QRMP scheme, let's just wrap up with this. Okay, that is the late fee part. Understand, interest will always be due to delayed payment of tax, but late fee will always be due to delayed payment of correct return, delayed filing of return. I'm so sorry. Yeah. So the entire under section 47 has undergone amendment. Understand? Entire section 47 has got undergone amendment. 47.1 and 47.2. 47.1 is, my dear friends, both GSTR 1 and 3B. Right. So here, let's say if you land up filing, okay, nil return, or for example, there is no tax liability at all in case of 3B. In that case, understand that it's very simple. It'll be 10 rupees per day or 250 rupees maximum, whichever is lower. When it comes to GSTR 1 and 3B, which has tax liability, right? Then in preceding financial year, if the aggregate turnover happens to be okay up to 1.5 crores, then it will be 25 rupees per day or 1000, whichever is lower. If it is more than 1.5 crores but up to 5 crores, be 25 rupees per day or 2500, whichever is lower. If it is beyond 5 crores, my dear friends, then it will be 25 rupees per day or 25 or 5000 for that matter, whichever is lower. Is that very clear? Correct. Okay. Next is, my dear friends, okay, with respect to compo taxpayer. Okay, understand again, if there is if there is the tax liability is nil, again 10 rupees will be constant or 250, whichever is lower. Others will again 25 rupees per day or 1000. Okay, they have reduced it all the way from 5000 to 1000 because compo taxpayer is any which way is a small taxpayer. So that's how they have reduced it. NRTP, they've kept it the same, at least the limit that I'm talking about. Again, what was 100 rupees initially is now for nil, it is 10 rupees, and for others, it is 25. Right? For ISD, it's 25 rupees per day or 5000, whichever is lower. For TDS collector, it is 25 rupees per day or 1000. For TCS, it is 100 rupees per day or 5000, whichever is lower. And the last is, my dear friends, annual return, that is GSTR 9. So if the aggregate turnover in preceding financial year again is up to 5 crores, 25 rupees or 0.02% of the turnover in the preceding financial year. And this is 25 rupees per day, huh? Per day, per day, and per day. Okay? Next, if it exceeds 5 crores but up to 20 crores, 50 rupees per day. Okay, but the limit remains the same. And if it's more than 20 crores, then it's 100 rupees per day or 0.25 of the turnover, whichever is lower. Take it. So that is definitely there, my dear friends. Okay, this is with respect to late fees. Okay, I would really like you to remember GSTR 9 and 1B, 1 and 3B, which is what I generally think will be asked in the exam, because that turnover element just makes the entire equation very interesting. Got it? Yes. Okay. Are you there, Purvi? Are you there, Smith? Okay. Fatafat se. Let's now wrap up, my dear friends. QRMP scheme. Let's now wrap up, my dear friends. QRMP scheme, very, very, very important from exam perspective. A lot of times, I don't know, for some reason, students leave this because they feel they don't understand, but that's not true. It's extremely simple and easy. Okay, perfect. Now, understand Purvi, understand Smith. In preceding financial year, if the aggregate turnover is up to 15 crores, sorry, up to 5 crores, right? So if this is the year which is 23-24, and the previous year, let's say 22-23, okay, the aggregate turnover was up to 5 crores. The aggregate turnover was up to 5 crores. In that case, understand, in current financial year, the registered person can opt for QRMP scheme, right? The registered person can opt for QRMP scheme. ठीक है? Is that very clear, my dear friends? Yes, sir. Okay. Now, understand in this case what are the conditions to be taken care of. Condition number one: the taxpayer must have furnished his last return on the due date. That's absolutely correct. So, for example, if you are taking, okay, the second quarter, let's say July, August, September. Okay, this is the second quarter you are trying to target as a QRMP scheme, right? Then the last return, let's say for example, you were paying it on the basis of monthly basis, right? Till June you were paying on monthly basis. So April ka May ka June ka July, right? That's how your return filing system was. It was actually MRMP scheme, monthly return, monthly payment, monthly return, monthly payment. Then in that case, the June return should be filed on the due date, right? That is basically 3B should be filed on due date, that is on 20th of July. Okay, only then from July to September you can opt for QRMP scheme. Okay, and in case April, May, June was QRMP scheme only, so that previous tax period was QRMP scheme, then obviously you have to respect the due dates of QRMP scheme, and that should be on time. If not, then you cannot take it, okay, ahead. Next is, registered person does not have to exercise the option every quarter. If you have exercised it once, it will continue till the time you don't voluntarily opt out of it, or you possibly cross 5 crores in current financial year. So if your aggregate turnover exceeds, done, done. Okay. It's very simple to understand that you will cross 5 crores, then you will have to shift from QRMP to again MRMP, from QRMP to again MRMP. Okay, perfect. Now, this system is GSTIN based. Okay, this system is GSTIN based. Okay, understand in that case, when I say it's GSTIN based, it's very important for you to understand that unlike PAN based scheme, okay, can anyone tell me what was PAN based scheme? Correct, it is composition scheme. Okay, your respective branches have their own discretion, right? So Maharashtra can go for MRMP scheme, okay, and for that matter, DMart Gujarat can go for QRMP scheme. So it clearly depends on the registered person. You decide what you want, right? Acha, manner of exercising the option, very simple. From the first day of the second month of the preceding quarter till the last day of the first month of the quarter. So, for example, you are going for July to September wala quarter as QRMP scheme. Now understand which is the last quarter. So April to June. Now April, May, June. So the last quarter ka second month ka first day, that is first May, okay, will be the first day up to last day of the first quarter, okay, that is 31st July. You have to now announce, okay, QRMP scheme between these dates. So you intimate between these dates, very simple. Okay, now understand there are three aspects to this. Okay, in QRMP scheme, understand what is QRMP and what is MP. QRMP is quarterly return and MP is monthly payments. Okay, QR is quarterly, return NMP is monthly payment. Now understand one thing very clearly, my dear friends, that quarterly return, now there are two returns, GSTR1 and 3B. And when it comes to monthly payment, then it will be GST, PMT, 0. I'm so sorry. Okay. I'm so sorry. First, let's focus on GSTR1. My bad. So GSTR1 generally is filed on 11th of the next month. Here it will be 13th of the next month following the quarter. Correct? And 3B will be 22nd or 24th of the next month following the quarter. Payment will be 25th of the next month. Okay. So instead of 20th, it will be 25th. Okay. Because it is quarterly later monthly payment. Payment to monthly hoga bhai. Payment will be on monthly basis only. It is the returns that you are filing quarterly. Okay? Correct. Now understand one thing, my dear friends, that when I talk about 3B, right, I also talk about the states for which 22nd is applicable and for which 24th is applicable. Now 22nd is applicable for others, but 24th is applicable for all eastern states and northern states. All eastern states happen to be Assam, Arunachal, Manipur, Mizoram, Meghalaya, Tripura, Nagaland, Sikkim, West Bengal. Now these are all eastern states. Northern states we can start all the way from J&K. Then J&K we have Ladakh, we have Delhi, we have Haryana, we have Punjab, we've got Chandigarh, UP ka bhai Uttarakhand and Bihar. Then we have Himachal, Rajasthan, Jharkhand and Odisha. Okay. So that's how, okay, all the states and union territories which are in the northern area, understand, we've all covered them, right? For all of them 24th, and for let's say central India or western India and southern India it is 22nd, right? Next is, my dear friends, okay, that submitting details of outward supply in GSTR1. Now understand, okay, when will you file GSTR1? Okay, you will file GSTR1 for September on 13th October. And for July and August, you will file IFF, Invoice Furnishing Facility, on 13th of the next month. Now, why is IFF required? Very simple. Understand, my dear friends, very clearly that if I am a supplier who has opted for QRMP scheme, but I am supposed to, okay, supply goods or service to a recipient who has opted MRMP scheme, so that person require ITC quickly. So if he have purchased in the month of April, he wants ITC in the month of April. He won't wait. He won't wait till the month of June, July. Got it? So he has. So what happens is that if any supply has been made in the month of April, correct? He will make sure that IFF is filed on 13th of May, which will be reflected in recipient's GSTR-2B on 14th of May. Got it? Yes. And understand, IFF is only filed with respect to B2B supplies. Only B2B. There is no B2C detail in that, right? And the reason it's B2B is so that recipient now does not have to wait till the June quarter, June ending, right? So he will not see this on 14th of July. He will rather see it on 14th of May itself. That is very important. Okay. Perfect, my dear friends. Okay, next. Another condition, that value of supply in IFF should not exceed more than 50 lakhs in a month. Understand that. right? And B2B supplies ही होगा. And as soon as you file it, okay, it will be auto populated in receivance to A to B rather. Right? Acha, payment of tax. Again, the form number here is GST PMT 06 form. It will be clearly paid on monthly basis, and the date is 25th of the succeeding month. But understand, for the last month of the quarter, again, understand you are going to soon file GSTR 3B. So you pay tax with the deadline of 3B only, and which is why you will pay tax on 22nd and 24th, because in the next month only you are going to file 3B for the all the 3 months. So on that day itself only you wrap up the hisab kitab and just pay the tax. Got it? Yes. Okay. So last month be very careful. Okay. Now the payment has to be made by difference in two ways. Fixed sum method, self-assessment method. Now, fixed sum method, my dear friends, is very simple. And self-assessment में तो क्या ही बोले. Now understand one thing very clearly. Okay. Omkar, if you are there, understand that right now I'm taking final CA, but inter CA का playlist already है वहां पर, so you can refer that. Those are recorded lectures and extremely explained in detail. Hope it's useful and hope you will like it. If you like it, please comment. Okay. Now, understand when I talk about fix a method. So your government is only told, okay, हाँ बेटा fully amended है बेटा fully amended है, don't worry. Okay. So आज my dear friends, please understand when I say fix a method, it's very pertinent to understand that what do you mean by fix a method? So government has given a certain percentage, and only on the basis of that percentage will you pay tax. Government has given a certain percentage, and only on the basis of that percentage will you pay tax. Okay, not more, not less. Okay, and the basic thing will be, it will be on the basis of, very simple, my dear friends. Okay, on the basis of percentage, right? So who furnished GSTR 3B quarterly for the last quarter? Okay, and who furnished GSTR 3B monthly for the last quarter? Now understand very thing, my dear friends, very clearly. Furnished GSTR 3B quarterly for the last quarter. Now understand that what government is trying to explain is that, let's say if you are taking QRMP scheme for July to September wala quarter. ठीक है? Correct. Okay. Now understand, my dear friends, in this case, if your previous tax period, okay, happens to be a quarter, that is April, May, June, तो previous year भी basically QRMP ही था वो, right? So understand that the data that will be captured in 3B will obviously be for 3 months. Correct. Yes. So government said that now in July, August, September, when you are supposed to pay ad hoc tax, divide it into one third. So instead of taking one third, literally they have taken 35% rather, 2% zyada. So they've taken 35 balance. So let's say here the 3 months tax was 100. So here it will be 35 rupees, 35 rupees. And then let's say they calculate the outward supply for the 3 months, and they finally realize that, okay, 110 is the tax payable, out of which 70 is already paid. So now 40 is payable in the month of September as a balance tax paid. ठीक, ये बात तो पक्की है, ये बात तो सही भी है. Okay, this is absolutely clear. Okay, fantastic. Now, what I'm trying to basically gauge is that, understand, if the, okay, same quarter, let's say the preceding tax period was, for that matter, okay, I'm so sorry, on monthly basis. So you are in MRMP scheme. So understand, now you have filed GSTR 3B only for 1 month, and that is the June month. That only represents 1 month. Now understand that in July, August, September, okay, very important to understand, friends, that here you cannot take the ratio of 35-35 balance. No, because here you have only data of 1 month, okay, and here you have data of 3 months. So what you are trying to multiply is 3x the amount here, and what you are trying to multiply is one third the amount here. And which is why government said in that case, July will be 100% of tax amount, August will be the same, and here it will be the balance. ठीक है, तो it depends कि आप multiply किससे कर रहे हो. So if you're multiplying with a value which consists of 3 month data, one third kar lo. One third, one third, one third. But if that data is only what? One third, as in it is for 1 month only, then in that case, government is said take 100% only. So let's say, okay, here the data was 50 rupees. So you will take 50, 50, let's say the total amount payable was 110 and 100 is already paid. So 10 यहाँ पे आ जाए. Simple. Simple. Got it? And in self-assessment tax, my dear friends, the concept is even simpler. In this, you have to manually calculate, okay, tax every month. There is no ad hoc percentage given. You have to manually, okay, calculate what is the output tax, what is the ITC, reduce it, and then pay net payable. So it will be on actual basis only. It will not be, okay, it will not have any computations to do with estimation. Okay, perfect. Now the question is, in QRMP scheme, is there interest on delayed payment of tax? Hell yes. But understand, not on the fact that, for example, okay, if I am going with fixed payment method and my last quarter was 100 rupees, so 35 and let's say balance considering 110, which is a given figure. Okay, it's a given for 110 is a given figure. I have stated this. It could be 150 or 200, 300, anything. I've just given it for the sense of example. Now, understand the actual liability came out to be 50, 40 and balance. Now, how much did you pay here? 35. But you were supposed to pay 50. Now, understand, government is not going to put that onus on you that you intentionally paid lesser tax. No, the estimation, by nature only, it will always go wrong. Either you have paid in excess or in deficit. So here, even though it is in deficit, it doesn't matter. There will be no interest here. The only time interest will be levied is that the 35 that you were supposed to pay, okay, on the 25th of the next month, you did not pay that. Right? You did not pay that. You paid late, and which is why instead of 25th August, you paid on 31st August. In that case, 6 days there will be clearly interest at the rate 18%. Is that very clear, my dear friends? Yes, sir. Okay. So I hope you've got, my dear friends, what I exactly meant by the way of QRMP scheme, and you exactly know what is to be done in MRMP scheme, right? And any question, if asked, will be asked in the arena of what I've covered, right? And that's it. That is the most exhaustive thing I could have helped you all with respect to returns. Okay. So guys, we will wrap here. Okay, we will wrap here, my dear friends, with respect to returns. And that's it. Okay, that's it. Tomorrow we will have a new topic and a new day and a new timing. Also, mostly I want to, actually start wrapping up this entire thing by 12 p.m. So 12 p.m. maybe, we can do something like this. it'll be great, because if you are getting up at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m., your half a day is over clearly. And 12 p.m. generally I'm more energetic, more enthusiastic, okay, more giving. So I'll rather choose that. And yeah, we can take it from there, absolutely, right? And tomorrow, what topic is to be done, I will just text you, don't worry, and I will text you in advance, okay? If you find this lecture really good, please send it across to WhatsApp groups, okay, to Telegram groups, to your friends. Please make sure that they benefit it, because if you are benefited from it, they will too. Thanks a lot, my dear friends. Have a good night and have a very, very nice day. Please comment and like if you genuinely like the lectures. Thanks a lot, my dear friends. Also, I have, done some motivation for you all. So if you can hear those stories, it'll be great. Yeah, Purvi, tomorrow lecture will be at 12 p.m. Purvi, I would also like to speak to you. So please DM me on the helpline number. I would like to speak to you once.